Hey everyone, it's day 87 here in Paris, and it's my last day. So a couple of weeks ago, I started calculating how much work I had left to write and how much time I had left to write it in, and I decided that unless I wanted to kill myself, never ever see anything else in Paris while I was here, and potentially write inferior work, that I should just give up the idea of getting to the end of the first draft and keep writing, but really take advantage of being in Paris. So I've done exactly that, and I've seen there's a festival going on here. It's called Festival l'Automne, and it's the autumn festival. And I've seen quite a bit of work that is part of that. I actually made a list. Oh, let's see. Well, I gigged. That was really cool. I may be able to post some video of that, but the audio is kind of rough, so I'm still playing around with that. I went to a fantastic gallery called Maison Rouge. Very strange collection. It was the collection of one person, and it was just an oddball, modern, very death-oriented collection, but it was great. I loved it. And I also have seen a lot of live work. Like I saw a piece that was remounting of a piece that was originally mounted in 1966. It was written by an Austrian author, and it's called Offending the Audience, and it was restaged here, and it was delightful. The characters were basically turning around the idea of what is theater and suggesting to the audience that we were actually the subject and we were the object, and they were watching us and we were more important than they were. And as they would say these things, the lights would come down on the audience and would go up on them, sort of involuting the idea of what they were actually saying. And they made statements like, we don't even agree with the author, we don't agree with what the author's saying. And it was just fun and irreverent and very, very well done. I saw a really long 4-hour piece by John Cage at Garnier. This was a piece that took star maps and overlaid them onto music paper and then used chance, rolls of dice, and various things to further refine what was going on that page musically, how long certain notes were held out, and so forth. It was a struggle listening to that for 4 hours because there was absolutely no tonal center. It was beyond not alpha wave. It was really all over the keyboard and jarring. It was jarring music. But after a little while, once your ear settles into listening to this kind of music, first of all, it just sounded like a Starfield. It just did. And the two pianists who were anchoring this 4-hour experience, they tag teamed, were very sensitive players and managed to wring a lot of emotion out of this generated music. So there was a real human component to it, and I think really there's a Zen state that you do get into after a 4-hour experience like that, and I enjoyed it. I also saw a performance artist who's Spanish. Her name is La Ribot, and I saw her at the Pompidou Center. I saw her work. She had an ensemble cast, and I gave that piece an F minus. I really, really did not like it at all. I thought it was incredibly pretentious and demeaning to some of the performers, and silly and self-consciously arty, and overarchingly trying to be clever, and I really hated it. But I enjoyed seeing it anyway because I do like to take apart exactly what I don't like about these pieces. I think it's going to be helpful for me going forward in staging Psyche. I also went to the Rodin Museum, and that was great because they had on exhibit several hundred of his drawings, which he did not use as studies for his sculptures. He felt that drawing was an art in and of itself, and apparently he was just so prolific, and he created thousands of drawings in his lifetime, and several hundred were exhibited in a temporary exhibit at the museum. And of course, there was a whole series on Psyche. So his take on Psyche was really different from everything else I've seen on her because it didn't really get into any of the allegorical or narrative aspects of it. It was really just an examination of a young woman sort of coming into her own. Um, but I quite enjoyed it. I also have been to the Louvre another couple of times, also to look at Psyche work, and again, very instructive. I've done a lot of shopping and a lot of eating. I still think I've lost weight because I've just walked so much. A lot of walking. It's gotten rather cold here. I'm excited to be going back to California for a number of reasons. One of which, but not the most important, is I'm kind of aching for slightly warmer weather. But that's it. I climb on a plane tomorrow. I land tomorrow afternoon in Los Angeles. This part of the adventure is over. I will complete writing the opera, at least draft one, when I get back. And I believe I have found a producer on the ground in LA. And I'm going to start looking at theaters and thinking very specifically about how to launch this piece. So the plan right now, in very broad strokes, is to do a 6-week run sometime in 2012 in a smaller theater, around 99 seats, we think, and see where we go from there. So anyway, thank you to everybody who's followed me on this adventure and been with me on this adventure, and more coming up. Bye-bye. Au revoir.